Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a question that really gets to the heart of how we live online now. Do you actually own the things you post? Your photos, your ideas, your work. Is it really yours once it's out there? The answer, well, it might surprise you. And it's driving this kind of quiet revolution.
That's exactly right. And for this deep dive, our mission is to explore that question by looking into this emerging thing called SocialFi. Social finance, we're going to zoom in on one project, BitForum, which is trying to, well, completely rewrite the rules for digital ownership and online community. And yeah, all this info comes from our source, BitForum, forging a decentralized crypto community.
Okay, let's get into that. The source paints a, frankly, pretty concerning picture of where things stand now with digital ownership. It talks about how, your content can just vanish. Oof. Or your account gets suspended, maybe no clear reason given, and your personal data, often used for profit, without you really saying, okay, it hammers home this point. You don't truly own your digital stuff. Makes you think, right? If you made it, why isn't it yours?
And the really critical thing is how this lack of ownership affects basically everything you do online. If your digital self isn't really yours, then who's controlling your story, your voice? How you connect. This is exactly why SocialFi is popping up. It's this movement really built on trust, transparency, and empowering the user. The whole idea is to flip that power dynamic back to you.
That vision sounds great.
Yeah.
But how does a platform like BitForum actually do that? Make content permanent, let you earn directly. Without the big guys in the middle, imagine, like the source says, your voice is secure, locked on a blockchain, safe from random censorship. Imagine you are the platform, no middlemen. You earn straight from your own creativity, your influence, and maybe the biggest piece, your data is yours. You control it, full stop.
And look, this isn't just pie in the sky thinking. It's happening. It's got momentum. The source points to 2023, right? Projects like Friend.tech, Farcaster. What they showed wasn't just, oh, people want something new. It was deeper. People were willing to deal with complex stuff, even pay, when they felt they got real ownership, real value back. It showed demand for a completely different kind of economic deal online. And that's the space BitForum is aiming for.
Right, understanding the problem is one thing, but sometimes it takes, a personal hit to really kickstart something big. The source tells this really compelling story about BitForum's beginnings. It's rooted in some pretty tough crypto lessons. We learned about the founder, a senior manager in Vietnam during this exciting time, this golden era of economic growth, where crypto buzz was just electric.
Yeah, exactly. And despite having this demanding job, they were smart about crypto investing, held good assets, took small, calculated risks. But then came these two just awful events that changed everything. First, a new project, hyped up by a Hollywood star apparently, went straight to zero, wiped out. Then the big one, the FTX collapse in November 2022. Right after El Lune, too. These weren't just market dips. They felt like betrayals. The lesson was brutal, really. The crypto world needed a safe place. A refuge from all the scams, the fraud, the rug pulls where people just vanish with the money.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's easy to forget how much those events shook people's trust, especially if you were invested careful like the founder was. That must have been, well, gutting. So, okay, faced with that kind of disaster, how did that frustration turn into the BitForum mission? What was the first actual step?
That hard lesson, that realization, that's what lit the fire for BitForum. The founder got the domain bitforum.net, deliberately combining Bitcoin's, revolutionary ideas with the power of community. Looking at the big picture, BitForum's whole purpose is to be the decentralized community for crypto. There's a great line in the source. Bitcoin created decentralized finance. We are creating the decentralized society to support it. Really sums it up.
That's a huge ambition, though, building the community, especially with all the failed projects and trust issues out there. How does BitForum plan to actually be that safe haven you mentioned? What makes it different besides just pointing out bad actors?
Well, it's about creating a space, fundamentally, where people can share ideas, talk crypto, connect over blockchain tech freely, without worrying about being silenced or their data being sold. The community itself aims to be a force for good, actively spotting the scammers, exposing the dodgy projects, and, helping blockchain tech become seen as something reliable, sustainable for the long run. It's about active protection, active education.
Okay, so if they want to be the main crypto community, how do they compare to sites already out there? The source mentioned Bitcoin Talk, which has been around forever. What's the difference?
Right. Bitcoin Talk is definitely a pioneer, no question. But the source argues it feels a bit passive, especially for an industry that moves incredibly fast. That's a key difference. BitForum wants to be this dynamic, easy-to-use hub, not just hosting chats, but actively finding, summarizing, and boosting the really good content, spreading it through BitForum news, YouTube, podcasts, you name it. So it's more proactive information sharing, not just, static forums.
Okay, so ownership, community.
Yeah.
But there's another huge issue for online creators that BitForum tackles: getting paid fairly. This leads to their create-to-earn idea, using a proof-of-creation system. How does that work in practice?
Yeah, this part's really interesting. The system rewards people who create content with BitForum's own token. And this token isn't just like, oh, here's $5. It's meant to have layers of value. Sure, it has direct monetary value, but it also unlocks things like premium access, special NFT collections, and down the line, maybe even voting rights, governance, on how the platform itself is run. It's about giving real ownership, real power back to the creators, making them actual stakeholders.
And that's not totally out of the blue, right?
Yeah.
The source mentions inspirations. It points to successes like Axie Infinity in gaming, that whole play-to-earn thing, and the Brave Browser's BAT token rewarding attention. So it's building on ideas that have worked.
Yeah.
But how do they plan to take this big vision, this creator economy, global?
Right, so BitForum has this global strategy aiming to compete with the big social platforms based on three main pillars. First, ride the crypto wave, mass adoption. I mean, there are over 320 million crypto wallets out there now. Bitcoin ETFs are a thing. Crypto is becoming part of the main economy. BitForum plans to grow right alongside that massive trend, serving all those millions of users.
Okay, Pillar 2 is dominating a niche, right? The idea that huge platforms like Twitter or Threads can't really serve the crypto crowd properly. It's not just about being niche, is it? It's that crypto talk, it's specific, sometimes high stakes. General platforms kind of water that down. So by being the crypto hub, they build this super focused, engaged community that the big guys can't really copy. That sounds smart.
Exactly. That's a strong niche focus. And the third pillar brings us back to the creators, empowering them with a sustainable economy, giving them the native token. That's a huge draw, something the old platforms just don't, or maybe can't, offer in the same way. It gives creators a really compelling reason to choose BitForum and fuel its growth with great content.
So quite a journey we've taken. We've looked at SocialFi, this emerging idea, BitForum's pretty bold vision, and its different take on owning your stuff online and actually paying creators fairly. It definitely paints a picture of a different kind of internet.
It really does. And it leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? As things like SocialFi grow and projects like BitForum gain traction, what new responsibilities come with that? If you, the user, gain more control over your digital identity, your creations, what does that mean for you? How might it change how we interact in online communities, how we think about creating content, moving from just consuming to actually owning and participating? Lots to mull over.
Definitely food for thought. And if this vision we've discussed today resonates with you, you can check out the BitForum network yourself. It's at bitforum.net. As the source suggests, it's aiming to be more than just another platform. It's part of a movement towards maybe a fairer, more transparent, and truly owned digital world.